Did Facebook just declare war on Vladimir Putin? Let's talk about it, y'all. Middle America.
And you ain't black.
The first time ever any...
What are you people?
We're Americans.
We are Americans indeed. What is going on, dear listener? My name is Vincent. I do not have the usual suspects with me. I am by myself today. This one is probably going to be a quick one for you beautiful people. But I got to tell you, dear listener, I do my best to curate the information that I'm presenting to you guys because, quite frankly, a lot of times I just truly can't believe it. I cannot believe what I'm seeing. I cannot believe what I'm hearing. I cannot believe what I am reading. So there I was at the sauna. Shout out to you, Tasco. Here I was at the sauna, hanging out, chilling, doing my thing. And I get this text from the great Applejack, CB Applejack, gang. And he showed me two stories, one of which I'm still working on validating. It may come up. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with this information that he's getting. I'm going to send you I'm going to show, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do about the second story. But the first story that he sent me was unbelievable. Speaking of censorship, Ashura, this is going to be a massively interesting story. No, this is not the Kamala thing. I don't know what Kamala has done. But guys, look, you know, enough of me talking. You're just going to have to see it to believe it. Like I said, this one's going to be a short one. Here we go. I'm going to share my screen for you guys because, you know, you guys usually I take these screenshots. This is Reuters. I repeat, what I'm about to read you is from Reuters.com. So please, look, I don't hit me with this. This is Russian propaganda. This is Reuters. Now, if you're going to say that Russia is a propaganda machine, then great. Reuters is a Russian propaganda outfit, then there's nothing I could do for you. We might get to Kamala. So Tasco, do me a favor and message me the thingamajig because I'm going to read this article and then we might be able to get through it in time and maybe you guys will still be around and we can deal with Kamala afterwards. I'm sure she embarrassed herself on the world stage. Kamala has been nothing but an embarrassment from the beginning. And as I've said to you guys, she is Mr. Biden is very efficiently using Shorty as a human shield, and she deserves it. Okay. Is he in the house? You guys are going to be blown away by this. Denny in the house. Family's doing extra great, bro. We're extra happy. Okay, guys. Enough of me talking. Here we go. You guys are not. I don't know. Maybe you will believe it. Maybe you won't. I was taken aback. I was blown away. Here we go. Hopefully you guys can see this. Maybe I need to move my computer. Let me shorten my screen here. Let me put myself at the top left so that you guys can truly see the wonder of what I'm about to show you, beautiful people. What does Facebook have to do with the war? They don't know how to stay outside. Here we go, Alden. Here we go. Here it's coming. It's coming. You ready? Here we go. Facebook temporarily allows posts on Ukraine war calling for violence against invading Russian or Putin's death. Facebook temporarily allows for posts on Ukraine war calling for violence against invading Russians or Putin's death. That was 10 March as last updated 5 hours ago. I'm doing the screen share thing, which is always a risky thing, but we will do what we will do. March 10th. Meta platforms, that's Facebook, will allow Facebook and Instagram users in some countries to call for violence against Russians and Russian soldiers in the context of the Ukraine invasion, according to internal emails seen by Reuters on Thursday, in a temporary change to its hate speech policy. Now, dear listener, the vast majority of hate speech policy on Facebook is ridiculous. The vast majority, I'm a protected class on Facebook as far as their hate speech policy, and none of the people that are going to say some dumb shit about me or my descendants are actually going to do any material harm to me. I understand words can still harm people. I understand that, but do you see this? The social media company is also temporarily allowing some posts that calls for the death to Russian President Vladimir Putin or Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko in countries including Russia, Ukraine, and Poland, according to internal emails to its content moderators. You know what that means? Somebody leaked it. Somebody said, holy shit, I need to report this to Reuters. As a result of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, we have temporarily made allowances for forms of political expression that would normally violate our rules, like violent speech, such as death to the Russian invaders. We still won't allow credible calls for violence against Russian civilians, a Meta spokesperson said in a statement. The calls for the leaders' deaths will be allowed unless they contain other targets or have two indicators of credibility, such as a location or method, one email said in a recent change to the company's rules on violence and incitement. The temporary policy changes on calls for violence to Russian soldiers apply to Armenia, Azerbaijan, Estonia, Georgia, Hungary, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, Romania, Russia, Slovakia, and Ukraine, according to one email. In the email, you know those Baltic states over there? In the email recently sent to moderators, Meta highlighted a change in its hate speech policy pertaining to both the Russian soldiers and to Russians in the context of the invasion. We are using a spirit of the policy allowance to allow T1 violent speech that would otherwise be removed under the hate speech policy when A, targeting Russian soldiers except prisoners of war, B, targeting Russians where it's clear that the context is a Russian invasion of Ukraine. For example, content mentions the invade self-defense, it said in the email. We're doing this because we have observed that in this specific context, Russian soldiers is being used as a proxy for the Russian military. The hate speech policy continues to prohibit attacks on Russians, the email said. Last week, Russia said it was banning Facebook in the country in response to what it said were restrictions of access to Russian media on the platform. Moscow has cracked down on tech companies, including Twitter, which said it was restricted in the country during its invasion of Ukraine, which it called a special operations. Many social media platforms have announced new content restrictions around the conflict, including blocking Russian state media RT and Sputnik in Europe, and have demonstrated carve-outs in some of their policies during the war. Emails also showed that Meta would allow praise of the right-wing Azov battalion, which is normally permitted in a change first reported by The Intercept. Meta spokesperson Joe Osborne previously said the company was for the time being making a narrow exception for praise of the Azov regiment strictly in the context of defending Ukraine or in their role as part of the Ukrainian National Guard. End fucking quote. That is Reuters. That's Reuters, Alden. That is Reuters. Praise to the Azov battalion, the Nazi battalion. Even you, Brother Alden, you have to admit, these are Nazis. Facebook is making a conscious decision to call for the death of Russian soldiers and a head of state. Just as long as they're not civvies and you've got two elements of information to prove that they're not civvies. What? Guys, what the hell is even happening right now? What is going on? The Azov battalion, yes, that is Reuters. Who do you think I am? Sorry, I should have said that. That was Reuters. I'll screenshot it for you. That was Reuters. What I just read to you was Reuters. Here we go. There you go. Reuters, updated as of 5 hours ago. Facebook temporarily allows posts on Ukraine war calling for violence against invading Russians or Putin's death. That's Reuters. They're silencing anything that is quote pro-Russia. They're silencing anything that's quote pro-Russia, but anything that's pro-killing Russians and killing Putin, that's okay. And also the same Facebook group that was telling us they were so concerned about the Nazi right-wing bullshit that we were all supposed to worry about during the Trump administration, they're going to temporarily allow praise to the Azov battalion. The Nazis. I mean, but just as long as it's limited. Guys, I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you right now. Tomorrow, Soraya and I are going to do a watch through. Tell your friends. A watch through. It's going to be a marathon session of a documentary called Ukraine on Fire. It's got Oliver Stone and all the rest of it in it. YouTube has already taken down a bunch of versions of that video. I got one, and it's going to blow your mind about that entire situation. And to be honest with you, I don't even know if our twiddly little channel is gonna be even able to survive it. To be honest with you, but Sori and I we're gonna just do a walkthrough, and it's an hour and a half. It's a long one. Strap in, and we're just gonna walk through it. I know Ashura's already seen it. I know a couple of you guys have already seen it, but we're gonna watch it. To be honest with you, I watched the first 20 minutes of it, and then Sori found out about it, so we're gonna watch it. We're gonna watch it again. But I am absolutely mind blown by this when Applejack shared this with me. That Facebook is look, I don't necessarily believe in censorship. You know, we always say, Facebook, middle America's a free speech environment. It's called Ukraine on Fire. And it's been taken down a multitude of times by YouTube. But yeah, Al, holy shit, 2019. U.S. General Meeting and shaking hands with Azov in 2019. I can look for the link if you want. Kind of funny, you call Ukraine's president Nazi and he's Jewish. I never said, Necro, that Ukraine's president was Nazi. What I said was that the Azov battalion is a well-known Nazi battalion, populated heavily with Nazis. That's what I said. I never said that Zelensky was a Nazi. I don't know if Zelensky is a Nazi or not. I don't know if Zelensky's a Nazi or not. If you want us to do the watch through, if you want to know what time, check us out, facebook.com/America Middle. We will give you updates because I gotta coordinate with Soraya on this one. No. The Azov battalion are Nazis. That's a fact. The Azov Nazis have some pretty sweet summer camps, and none of the counselors have Nazi tattoos. Yeah, they just have the other SS stuff and the Black Sun and all the rest of it. The rules around Nazi acceptability have changed. Yeah, we're gonna see old Stefan Balderrama, whatever his name is, get declared a hero of Ukraine and all the rest of it. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be wonderful. Now, what I'm about to show you comes from Applejack. I repeat, what I am about to show you has not been confirmed by me yet. I do not know. However, I do want you to see the contrast. On the one hand, you have a tech company social media giant like Facebook/Instagram allowing for calls for murder, death, dismemberment, destruction of Russian military, as well as a head of state, Vladimir Putin. But on the other side, you're allowed to praise a Nazi battalion. Okay. Check this out, dear listener. I truly do not know what to do with this. Here we go. This is Max Blumenthal. The only reason I'm posting this tweet, I haven't posted the video yet, but I'm posting this tweet. Twitter just nuked ASB military after it posted this revealing video. So you can see there the tweet is deleted. And I'm pretty sure, Applejack, you can confirm with me that Twitter actually blew up and completely suspended the channel itself. In the video, is about 1 minute 20 seconds long. You see these Ukrainian women arguing with these Ukrainian soldiers. What purports to be Ukrainian soldiers. I can't tell. But long story short, they're arguing. The argument is being made, or the claim is being made, that these weapons, that the Ukrainians were storing weapons at a school or in a residential area. Now, the implications of that are obvious. I don't know if you remember the Iraq War. I don't remember if you guys remember the Iraq War, but one of the more horrific things that the resistance fighters were doing in Iraq, they would store their weapons, the RPGs, all that jazz, weapons caches in the masjid, in the mosque. And then we'd get intel, and then we just bunker bust the mosque. And then they would start putting them in schools and hospitals. And initially, our rules of engagement were ruthless. So Bush and Cheney and Rumsfeld were just saying, light them up, fuck them up, we don't care. And so what it did was it provided a lot of rhetorical currency for the insurgents, because they were able to say, look at these horrible Americans killing civvies. Now, I told you about jiu-jitsu. When you're on the ground and you're weak, there are things that you can do operating from the bottom that will give you certain kinds of victories depending on your goal. So do what you will with that information. Hamas, Hezbollah, they do that all the time. I don't know how often they do it. But when you hear about Russians targeting civilians, you have to put a question mark on it. You have to. You have to. Are my links showing up? Hold on, Alden. Let me check. Let me check here. A black chief of police got canned during Black History Month. Yeah, that was hilarious. That was great. Shout out to Canada. Hey, oh, Canada. Isn't that what they say? Oh, Canada. Shout out to Canada. Hold on. Let me see here. Let me see this link that my brother Alden posted. This shit is unbelievable to me. Now we've got Facebook. So Facebook has taken a side in this war. Facebook has taken a side in this war. I to be honest with you guys, I don't really know. No, your links are not showing up at this point. Alden, let me see if I put you as a moderator. Maybe you'll your links will show up if I can put you in as a moderator. But I want you to yeah, Max kept his post on it, and Max Blumenthal, I don't care what you guys say about him, is a credible journalist, bar none, in my opinion. He's Aaron Mate level, in my opinion, and so he believes there's credibility to that. Look, once I see a real word for word translation, what's up, Kamikaze? Once I is VIN on Putin's payroll. Vin works for himself, and you beautiful people. You guys don't pay me anything but attention, and that's okay. Yeah, Applejack's video was deleted. We need to find. I need a word for word Ukrainian translation of that discussion, because I will run it on the channel, no problem. But I just look. There's an ongoing debate about, you know, Facebook and Twitter, and my position has always been, hey, this is capitalism. It's the free market. They can do what they want. And the argument is, yeah, but when they start curating information like that, they're functioning as a publisher. And then my response to that is, yeah, but you still don't want to go there. You really, really don't want to go there. But now this is completely one-sided. These people are deleting everything that they disagree with, that they deem they don't like, and then they're going around and supporting a war. And they're taking a very specific side in a war. And I'm gonna make you a moderator. Boom. Okay, so Al, I just made you a moderator, so that might give you the ability to post the links in the chat. So I can access it. Guys, this is far beyond, oh, is Facebook a moderator? Are they a publisher? Is Twitter a publisher? They're just functioning as these guys are now taking a side in a war. And when you were on Twitter and Facebook posting the Snake Island bullshit, which was all clear propaganda, when you were posting the Call of Duty bullshit, when they were saying that they were shooting down Russian jets and all that, but it was really just a scene from Call of Duty. I shot a video, there's like 7 of these clearly propagandized moments when you were putting war crimes on your Facebook and your Twitter, you know, where you got Russian soldiers being interviewed, which is a complete violation of the Geneva Convention, when they were obviously being used for propagandist purposes. Did they suspend your channel? This shit is unfucking believable. We're all going to be watching Ukraine on Fire tomorrow, guys, on this channel. We will be watching Ukraine on Fire tomorrow. Al, put what is the name? Yeah, I don't see a link, even though I made you a moderator. Yeah, Fox ran the Snake Island hoax as well. Look, guys, do you realize how dangerous this precedent is? Let me tell you something. In 2020, January 6th, that whole uprising, all of the QAnon folks who got excised from Twitter and Facebook ended up on Parler. And you would not have believed the ugliness and the terror that I was witnessing with these people on Parler. They were talking about killing people. They were talking about executing these heads of state. They were talking about bringing punishment to them, etc., etc., etc. And I remember Soraya's next to me. She's like, "Holy shit, can they do this?" And I'm like, "I don't know if they can do this or not." But I'm like, "Yo, these are the farthest far." I said, "Sorry, this is the farthest right you're gonna get." This shit where they're now openly on social media calling for the murder and the death of these dignitaries and all the rest of it. I'm like, this is as far right and as cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs as you're going to get. And then sure enough, we had what we saw on January 6th. But that was in the denizens of the social media galaxy. Those QAnon people, some of you are QAnon people, don't be angry at me, but those QAnon people were the marginalized, wild-eyed, insane far right that were excised from the rest of us. And now you can do the same thing because it's Vladimir Putin? What? There it is. U.S. is arming neo-Nazis in Ukraine. There's the link. Bang, it worked. So maybe it took him a second to get his thing working. And there's a big homie, Aaron Mate. That was 2018. Now, do you have a timestamp, Al, for the specific moment? Because I think this is important because some of you are revisiting. So what I want to do is show you guys this, show you that these people are neo-Nazis, specifically the Azov Battalion. And then I'm going to read again to you what Facebook just said, and you'll see. This stuff is, my mind is absolutely blown. My mind is absolutely blown here. It's absolutely blown. Shout out to Kai. Kai's in the house. They're all unhinged infants with weapons. Correct. Now look. If do people have the right to be upset at Putin and an invading army? How would you feel if somebody invaded your country? How would you feel? I get it, man. I get it. My concern, my problem is that, and I've been a big holdout on this with social media. I've always said, YouTube doesn't owe me a platform. Facebook doesn't owe me a platform. Twitter doesn't owe me a platform. Free market shit. Do what you want. I've always said that. Always. I've been on the opposite side of Jimmy, where Jimmy's like, oh my God, they took out a head of state. You know, Trump. They banned the head of state. They could do that with everything. That's censorship. I've always said, nope, that is their platform. It's their right. But wait a second here. Now we're talking about officially taking a side in an international conflict. An America-based company, by the way, is taking a side in an international conflict. The same company that during the 2020 elections, if you said one thing crazy that their fact checkers disagreed with, they would suspend your account. They would delete your account, which created Parler and the QAnon denizens in the first place. The same company who was doing that in a one-sided fashion, by the way, because we tested it in Middle America. The same company that's doing that is now saying, hey, you want to call for the murder of a head of state? That's fine. If you want to call for the murder of Russian troops, most of whom don't have any choice as to whether or not they're going to invade in the first fucking place, that's fine. If you want to praise Nazis in the Azov Battalion, as long as you're praising the Nazis for defending the Reichstag, then you're okay. What? And you gotta take what Bricktown is saying into account. Companies got a big head after decades of being told they were people too. This didn't start with Biden. It didn't start with Bush, but it was certainly propelled by Bush with these companies and people too bullshit. These things have ramifications and consequences, dear listener. They do. Screw Facebook, but also this isn't the first time a social media company has taken a side in war where any social media company is calling Americans calling for bin Laden's death. Stoudman, bin Laden was not a head of state. There is a difference between a rogue terrorist and a head of state. I assure you, if some white dude from Nebraska was saying, we need to kill the crown prince of Saudi Arabia, he would have been banned. We're talking about a head of state. Vladimir Putin's a head of state. He's not a rogue terrorist. He's a guy that speaks at the UN. He's not a rogue terrorist. Stop with these crazy false equivalencies. They are picking a side in an international conflict. Secondly, Facebook is an American-based company, so they can be on the side of America. This is not an American conflict, Stout. So they're not equivalent. On top of that, Stout, they're also allowing for praise to the Azov Battalion. This is the group that told us that they were suspending all these accounts that ended up in Parler because they're white supremacist. Well, what do you think? Hey, I'm gonna read. I want to read this again. Vin, what is your idea of solve the problem in Ukraine? I'd like to know. Very simple. Number one, give Crimea to Russia. Number two, recognize the Donbass. Number three, Ukraine should stop. That should cease military activities. And number four, they should draft a constitution amendment immediately, perpetually stating that they will never join NATO. If they do that, the war would have been over 72 hours ago. And I have a suspicion that Mr. Dennis Kyriv was trying to convince people to accept those terms, and he ended up executed. Because there are elements within that country that don't want peace with Russia. Very simple. And if you don't like Crimea being given to Russia, I don't like it either, dear listener. But Putin wasn't demanding that before this conflict started. All he demanded was, hey man, just get off our backs with this stuff. Get off our backs with this stuff. What do you mean be a country name only? No, they went. Here we go. Deny Ukrainian self-determination. There you go. Hey, my brother, being part of NATO is not equivalent to self-determination. NATO is a hostile military alliance. Okay? I've said this a million times. I've said this a million times to people. How come you people aren't fighting for Iranian self-reliance and Iranian self-determination? Why can't the Iranians get nukes? Why couldn't the Cubans during the Why couldn't the Cubans during the Cuban Missile Crisis? Why couldn't they get why didn't they have the right to self-determination? This is the fourth offer from Russians to be turned down by Ukraine to end this war. That is correct. That is correct. That is correct. NATO should have been disbanded in 1992. Correct. See, Al Nabyan and Danny and Al Nabyan, make sure I'm pronouncing your name properly. Spell it phonetically, please. NATO should have been correct. See, they both said it right on top of each other. Yeah, Amy, I read the whole thing. I'm going to read it again. I'm going to actually read it again for you guys. This is Reuters, so it's an actual. And by the way, Stout, I appreciate your high character response. By the way, I'm not being sarcastic. It's very, very rare in this day and age, so I respect the hell out of you for that. Seriously, guys. Here's the full article here. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. There's Reuters. You see the logo right there, so you can tell. Last updated 5 hours ago. That would be 6:38 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Facebook temporarily allows posts on Ukraine war calling for violence against invading Russians or Putin's death. March 10, Meta Platforms, also known as Facebook, will allow Facebook and Instagram users in countries to call for violence against Russians and Russian soldiers in the context of the Ukraine invasions, according to internal emails seen by Reuters on Thursday in a temporary change to its hate speech policy. The social media company is also temporarily allowing some posts that call for death to Russian President Vladimir Putin or Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko. We could kill him too. Subhanallah. In countries including Russia, Ukraine, and Poland, according to internal emails to its content moderators. As a result of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, we have temporarily made allowances for forms of political expression that would normally violate our rules, like violent speech such as death to the Russian invaders. We still won't allow credible calls for violence against Russian civilians. So can Syrians say death to the American invaders, Facebook, and can Syrians say death to Joe Biden, kill Joe Biden? Is that allowed? The calls for the leaders' deaths will be allowed unless they contain other targets or have two indicators of credibility. So if you have one indicator of credibility, it's still allowed. This shit is mind-boggling. Such as the location or method. One email said in a recent change to the company's rules on violence and incitement. So I don't know. So if you have one, that is to say, Biden is going to be in Kiev. That's only one indicator. Is that allowed? But if you have two, it won't be. I don't know. I need more clarity on that. But maybe it's purposely meant to confuse you. We continue. The temporary policy changes on calls for violence to Russian soldiers apply to Armenia, Azerbaijan, Estonia, Georgia, Hungary, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, Romania, Russia, Slovakia, and Ukraine, according to one email. An email recently sent to moderators, Meta highlighted a change in its hate speech policy pertaining to both Russian soldiers and to Russians in the context of the invasion. We are issuing a spirit of the policy allowance to allow T1 violent speech that would otherwise be removed under the hate speech policy when A, targeting Russian soldiers, except prisoners of war. Right, because you're going to be able to really slice that pie that finely, because that's how human nature works, Facebook. Human nature works like that. They're going to say, man, fucking kill those Russians. Oh, no, not the prisoners of war, though. That's how human beings, all caught up in their feelings and watching a bunch of Ukrainian propaganda and American propaganda. That's how they're gonna slice the pie, Facebook. Unbelievable. Targeting Russians where it's clear the context is the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Content mentions the invasion self-defense. So the way you're going to be able to tell is if they put self-defense in front of it. This is unbelievable. We're doing this because we have observed that in this specific context, Russian soldiers is being used as a proxy for the Russian military. Subhanallah. This is unbelievable to me. The hate speech policy continues to prohibit attacks on Russians, the email said. Last week, Russia said it was banning Facebook in the country. I wonder why. See, this is the thing that gets me with folks. Is to say, oh my God, they're restricting speech over there in Russia. No shit. I don't know if you've noticed recently, but all of Western media for the last 5 years has been doing all this type of Russophobic, hateful craziness. This shit is unbelievable to me. Moscow has cracked down on tech companies, including Twitter, the same Twitter that allowed for that allowed for the Snake Island lie, which basically portrayed Russians as these heartless murderers who murdered these people and fuck you, Russian boat. When they followed the Geneva Convention and allowed these people to surrender and kept them alive. That's called propaganda. Emails also showed that Meta would allow praise for the right-wing Nazi. I fixed that for you. Azov Battalion, which is normally prohibited, in a change first reported by The Intercept. Meta spokesman Joe Osborne previously said the company was, for the time being, making a narrow exception for praise for the Azov regiment strictly in context of defending Ukraine or in their role as part of the Ukraine National Guard. Dear listener, I don't know if you know this, but I'm sure you do. But one of the main phrases in Nazi Germany with the Nazis. And one of the main phrases, as a matter of fact, I know this because I just got done watching a documentary, is Blut und Boden. Blut und Boden. You know what Blut und Boden is? Blood and soil. Which is what the silly Tiki Torch cosplay people were doing over here in America. Blood and soil. Blood and soil. My point is, what the fuck kind of restriction is that? We're only going to praise the Azov Battalion if they're defending their homeland. That's like one of the... that's one of the staple foundations of Nazi self-identification, is that they're defending their homeland. That's part and parcel with it. So how is that... basically, again, this is fine sort of slicing of human nature where it's like, okay, we're not praising the Nazi part. We're just praising the defend the homeland part. So the Blut, which would be the blood, the pure-blooded Aryan bullshit, no, we're not with that, but we are with the Boden, the soil. What? I don't think that yeah, with the little boy haircuts and the khakis. I saw that guy, the leader of that little club. I actually got his phone number. I called him. I left a couple messages on his answering machine. I told him I was praying for him, but he was all crying and shit because things are going to go bad for him. Guys, this is not good. In my opinion, Facebook has absolutely and totally crossed the line here. They've completely crossed the line here. And you know, when CB sent me this, when CB sent me this, I couldn't believe. I said, "What? No. I couldn't believe it." I looked at it, popped it, said Reuters. I could not believe it. Reuters. This is mainstream news outlet. You cannot dispute it. Facebook should not be taking a side on this. This is not the time for Facebook to be custom altering their policies. Unbelievable. The scary thing about Facebook to me is that this whole meta thing is just a power grab to try to reinvent the internet so they can have total control over it. Now, I'm not smart enough to understand the implications of what Stout is saying in that particular what he just said. So I don't understand the implications of that. What I do understand, though, so I can't. I mean, I 99% agree with him. I'm not completely affirming it because I don't know him. I'm trying my best to be as you know, speak with as much certainty as possible. But it goes without speaking that they're inordinately powerful. These people are inordinately powerful, and now. Here's the thing that gets me, guys, about this whole situation. And I'm thinking about, see? And Art, you and I disagreed about this. You and I disagreed about this in the past, right? Because I said, hey, look, it's a free market. They get to do what they want. Here's my problem. One of the things that, you know, we've got multiple businesses and we're doing okay. We're doing okay with those businesses and we're going to be okay. Bless God. But the empire was built, at least the foundations of our empire was built completely on social media. The Trump conspiracy, blah, 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 Russiagate bullshit was all being attributed to social media swaying of opinion. During the 2020 especially during the year 2020 when the election was actually happening, Facebook absolutely cracked down on fake news articles. The fact checkers became an infallible magisterial authority that could not only delete your tweet or your Facebook account or your YouTube platform, they could literally destroy what you do for a living. This is the power of these platforms. I sat back and I said, it's their platform. They don't owe us that shit. But now I'm seeing, and some of you are going to say, too fucking late, Vin. We were telling you this shit before. Fair. One thing I'll tell you guys about this channel, there's some things that I'm an expert in, and there are other things that I'm not. And I'm starting to see it the way of some of my friends. Because a couple days ago, I saw something that absolutely gutted me. It was this Russian girl, and inshallah, she's got enough traction to where people are going to help her. But she basically said, great, my Twitch account, my PayPal, my socials, all of them have been frozen out because she's in Russia. And Visa and Twitch and PayPal triangulated to declare economic warfare on this girl and completely destroyed her business over fucking night as a punishment to Vlad Putin. Guys, I don't know, man. I feel like that's a little bit different from just saying that's a free market. They don't owe me a platform. Because now I feel like there's some extortion happening, which is what some of you have been saying, Art, the rest of you have been saying the entire time. So now what I'm saying is, I don't have a problem saying I could be wrong. I was definitely wrong about January 6th. Now I'm like, holy shit, man, I genuinely do not know. My far-right friends were telling me this. Jimmy Dore crowd was saying, how the fuck this guy, they just deleted an American president? I get it. But now we're talking about inciting people to propagandize people to fucking murder Russian soldiers and murder a fucking head of state. And they know the power of their platform. They made a decision, and now they're literally triangulating with our government, NATO, the EU, and all this other, Germany, and all these other places that stand to benefit from a depleted and a destroyed Russia, to influence world history on purpose. I don't know, man. I feel like that's over the line. I don't give a fuck about Russia in this context or Ukraine or whatever. I don't care if it was fucking Pluto. I don't think that Zuck and the rest of those boys should have the ability to say, yeah, we're going to influence world history this way. I don't know. Okay, so the ASB video is back on Twitter now. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I am going to play the ASB video because Twitter has restored it. Take what I'm about to show you with a grain of salt. But, guys, I don't know, guys. I don't know. I think I feel like we're in trouble here, and I'm not certain exactly how to interpret all of this, and I'm not prepared to say that I'm willing to say that there ought to be government intervention from these big tech companies, because the question is, which fucking government? Because an argument could be made that there's already been government intervention with these social media companies. That's the other side of this problem, guys. Is Art and the rest of you and Jimmy and the rest of you, is there even a solution? Like I said last night, all these oligarchs on the same team, they know they're on the same team. And Zuck and the rest of those folks, they're already up there in the club, guys. So even if we say there ought to be government intervention, how do we know that Zuck didn't just get off the phone with Biden and the rest of them to green light this shit? So I really, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm gonna show the video. Because ASB is back online, and so look, ASB was do me a favor and put the hey, what's up, Rip? Hey, listen. Before I go, Applejack, get me that Twitter. Okay, here it is. They're back. Hold on, let me check it. So I'm gonna run that video for y'all because and Kelladross is gonna be like, "Why did you do that? Why did you run that video?" Blah 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 blah. I can already tell what Kelladross. Oh, okay. ASB is not online. Dan O'Brien is sharing it. Who's Dan O'Brien? Holy shit. I don't know what to do with this. I don't know if I should share this or not because I don't know. Okay. Let me see. Stout is usually a challenger to me. Okay, so Stout, I've got a video purporting to be Ukrainian civilians arguing with Ukrainian troops about the proximity of where they're storing weapons. What do you think? Should I play it or not? I'll let you have the final word on it. Hopefully Stout is in the house. And the rest of you guys, type 22 if you think I should play that video or if you don't think it's a good idea. Again, guys, I'm being as trying to uphold as much journalistic integrity as possible. Type 22 if you think we should play it. Type 6 if you think we shouldn't. And then Stout, I want to hear your take on it because I also have a translation here. With the moms arguing in the thing. Okay, Stout says I don't see why not as long as there isn't violent, and the chat has okay, all right. Okay, guys. Now I haven't read the actual commentary. I haven't read the subtitles in the video, so I'm going to be reading at the same time as you guys. Okay. So Bricktown is okay. So Bricktown is also another okay. You should play it even if there's a Ukrainian speaking person in the house. Okay. Well, I'm not glad you had your stroke, but I'm glad that you're still with us. And by the way, guys, again, we are going to be doing it's probably going to be 4 or 5, maybe 6 hours, a watch along of Ukraine on Fire, which has been taken down by YouTube, but we're still doing it. Okay. Hey, Pharaoh. Yeah, okay. I will keep it up. Let's check this out right here. But before I do, it sounds like you're condemning all Ukrainians as Nazis. No, I'm not saying all Ukrainians are Nazis. That's not true. Okay, guys, here we go. Here's the video. It's only 38 seconds. It's 38 seconds long, guys. I'm about to play it. This credit goes to CB Applejack for the find while I was in the sauna. That's probably too much information. Let's do it. Let me turn off this music here, and then hopefully I can full screen it so that you guys can see the thingamajiggy. Let me turn this down so your ears don't die. Hopefully you guys can see it here. And I'm going to play it right.
Тихо. Вот, начали орать. Вот тут вот. Поставили пушки, скорее всего. Сейчас будет обратка. Вот стоит 2 школы. Уберите пушки. Уберите в поле пушки. Зачем? Успокойся. Лицей. У нас папа начальник лицея военного. Вот все, хорошо. Здесь пушки стоят. Мы вышли. Кто вам такое сказал? Нет, здесь стоят пушки. Здесь стоят пушки. заведующая детского сада. У него муж лейтенант, летчик.
И что? И что? И вы сейчас и вы хотите слить наши позиции? Что вы хотите? Кто на вас летит?
Да будет обратка.
Okay.
Тихо.
Проблема в том, что...
Вот, начали орать.
Okay, and this is Kharkiv. Residents of Kharkiv outraged at Ukrainian military for deliberately positioning their units and weapons in residential areas. Multiple videos like this from around Ukraine where the population directly approaches the military and tells them to leave their area. I'm going to play it again.
Зафиксируй.
When she says they'll answer back, I mean, not to disrespect any of you, but when they are the Russians, if you're putting howitzers by a kindergarten and the Russians answer back, then you obviously put civvies in danger.
Вот стоит две школы. Уберите пушки.
Уберите в поле пушки.
Зачем?
Успокойся. Лицей. У нас папа начальник лицея военного. Вот
Все,
здесь
хорошо,
два
хорошо.
отдела. Нам сказали, здесь пушки стоят. Мы вышли.
Кто вам такое сказал?
Нет, здесь стоят пушки. Здесь стоят
Вы
Я заведующая детского сада. У него муж лейтенант, летчик.
и что? И что? И вы сейчас и вы хотите слить наши позиции? Что вы хотите? Кто на вас летит?
Да будет обратка.
What's flying at you? They're gonna shoot back, dummy. Okay, guys, I do not know. I do not know. That's a legitimate video. I don't know if it's a legitimate translation, but guys, let me show you what a howitzer is, okay? Let me show you what a howitzer is. Okay? That's poor girl. They said, bring it to the field. What the fuck are you guys doing? This is a howitzer, okay? Now, again, I know some of you have experience, yada, 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 okay? So, please don't be insulted. Here you go. It's generally a large ranged weapon between an artillery gun, also known as a cannon outside the U.S., smaller high-velocity shells fired at flatter trajectories, and a mortar, which fires at higher angles of ascent and descent. I'm not going to bore you with all the particulars there. But guys, as again, I have to say, in Iraq, this is a strategy used by Al-Qaeda. In Iraq, this was used by Hezbollah. Over there in Lebanon, used by Hamas. And then there's also counterintelligence the Israelis do. But basically, you set up your munitions. You set up your weapons caches, your RPGs, things like that. Mobile weapons that can be moved quickly. You set them up in schools or at hospitals or at religious sites. In masjid, for example. Mosque. And then we get intel that there is a weapons cache there. And so you detonate the weapons cache, or we get intel that they're hiding a high value person there. You detonate that thing, you blow that person up, or you destroy the weapons cache. And then you have an inevitable round of dead civilians, dead babies that you can parade around on TV and say, look what the Americans did. Or you can show the destroyed mosque and you could say, look at the Americans, they hate Allah and his Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then that gets not only the local community enraged and the 16 to 28-year-olds ready to pick up a khalesh, but it also gets the international community looking at you like you're the bad guy, etc., etc. It's extreme form of asymmetrical warfare. It's what you do when you're outnumbered, outmanned, outgunned, and that's why you do it. I am not saying that I don't know anymore, guys. I have no idea. All I know That lady's a kindergarten teacher. That Ukrainian lady. I got a 3-year-old. He's bad as hell, that kid. He's a fucking horrible kid. I homeschool my kids. This shit is fucking ruthless. These people. And this is I don't know. I don't know, guys. But if that shit is true, use those kids like that. I don't know, guys. I don't know. A lot of you guys are saying it looks true to you. Look, I've been advocating a lot for Russian people because I feel like they've been overlooked. And you guys know I always go for the underdog because I feel like Jesus is always with the underdog. But I don't know, man. That I hadn't seen the video, so it just hit me when she said she was a kindergarten teacher. And there's something about a teacher like going for it. You know what I'm saying? For kids that most of them probably aren't even hers. And again, I don't know. The whole thing could be bullshit. I don't know. But all I do know is anytime you see a fucking war, there's almost a guarantee that some kindergartner is gonna fucking pay somehow. They're either gonna die or you know my son. You guys don't want to hear about my son, but whatever. You know, kids, when you put them to bed, they always have some fucking thing that they do. So my daughter, she does a lot of the babysitting. So you'll put Ryan to bed. He'd be like, "I want Zoe." So you got to go downstairs and get Zoe. So then Zoe gives him a hug and kiss and whatever. So he says, "I got to go, Ryan. I want mommy." So then she goes and gives him a hug and kiss and prays over him. Today he asked for me. So I was a little bit late because he asked for me today. So I was laying down in bed with him in the nightlight. Fucking Russia, Ukraine, whatever. There's a lot of people over there in that country right now, man. And one of them kids, I don't care if it's this particular situation, but a bunch of kids going to be saying they want their fathers and there's going to be nobody to fucking answer them. This is just sick. This is really, 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 really sick. Sick stuff. And like I've been saying, if my country is any party to that bullshit, if my America is any party to putting that fucking kid in that situation, or that teacher in that situation, we got to do something. This shit is unconscionable. This shit is unconscionable. And if there's anything that we can do to influence this 1% the other way, I don't want to stand before God and tell him I didn't do anything. We got to do something. And the answer is not to fucking keep arming people so they could be more violent. The answer is to find ways for true and lasting peace. All right. All right. But I don't know. I really don't know, because you got Facebook now saying fucking green light, man, kill them all. So who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Take care of yourselves. Take care of yourselves, guys. And this shit is corny as hell, and I don't care. But do something good for somebody tomorrow. Tangibly good. And I know that we don't always have to spend money either. But honestly, go out of your way and do some good things for people. Former head of the directorate at SBU in Kiev, Dmitry Demevenko, was killed. When? Did it just happen? By Ukrainians? What the fuck? Send me that, Applejack, because I'm sure it's connected to that little internal civil war that these guys have. It wasn't the SBU. The SBU killed Dennis Kyriv, didn't they? Didn't the SBU kill Dennis Kyriv yesterday? I mean, the SBU did that, right? So then the special forces went back and then killed the head of the SBU. So, yeah, this tells me that these guys are not as united as simplistic as we think. But send it to me. I'll probably do an earlier one because me and Sori are going to be doing the documentary. But I think I'm done tonight, guys. I think I'm done tonight. But do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. So let's make it a good Friday for some people that in our world. Yeah, I think I'm done, guys. Much love to all you, though. In the meantime, love your neighbor, take care of each other. Middle America, we are the media. Till next time, guys.